What's on your back right now?
Tenor saxophone.
And you play now?
Yeah, I'm employed here at
This
Jazz
is
and
your
Lincoln
job.
Center. This is where I clock in.
What kind of music you listen to?
Mainly jazz.
All right, before we start with the music, introduce yourself.
Abdias Armenteros from Miami, Florida.
You feel good about your knowledge of jazz?
Because
Because I don't feel good about mine.
We'll see what happens. Duke Ellington.
Literally 3 seconds. This is a pretty famous jazz song, huh?
Well, the A train is right there, and people do take it. Top 3 most prolific American composers of the 19th century had a big band that this big band is actually kind of modeled after. When Jazz and Lincoln Center first started, it was comprised of the last surviving members of the Duke Ellington Orchestra.
1 for 1. Let's keep going.
This might take me a little.
Take your time.
Summertime.
There's a lot of different versions of this song.
Ella.
Yes.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, there we go.
A lot of what we play and the language that we develop and the way we improvise, a big chunk of it is because of Louis Armstrong. Ella, what can we say? Ladies, one of the premier vocalists of our music.
Let's keep it pushing.
There's some bebop. Yeah, but it's Bird. Yeah, it's Charlie Parker. Yeah, you gotta hear him play it.
First thing you said was bebop. What does that mean?
It's a subgenre of jazz. The reason why it's so important is it was started by young people coming out of the swing tradition. They were like, "Oh, we want to play faster. We want to come up with this new vocabulary that's new." And that's why it's still so prevalent.
You have $20, double or nothing. We're going for 40.
Manteca, Dizzy Gillespie, great figure in the music. Not only his trumpet playing and his big band leading, but also a great educator. From him at this point, it went from a tradition that was just passed down orally to then something that you could see. He would write out, jazz theory, music theory, teach it to people.
When'd you get into jazz music?
8th, 9th grade, around there.
Okay.
And I'm 25, so.
Were you started playing first or listening first?
It was a simultaneous
Yeah.
thing. It was both playing and listening.
How did you go from playing saxophone when you were in 9th grade to now you're professional?
A lot of what we do is a lot to do with community. I'm from Miami, grew up playing in the church, and then someone told me about a performing arts high school in Miami, New York School of the Arts. The jazz man there auditions for a festival that Jazz and Lincoln Center hosts called essentially Ellington. Just being around the orbit, sitting in rehearsals and everything when I got into Juilliard, so I'm in close proximity. It's in the neighborhood. So I would come here to rehearsals, listen, and eventually I got the call.
Let's keep going, more songs.
There we go. Around midnight, who's playing it? Miles.
How can you tell?
A lot of it has to do, honestly, with the mute. He's one of the musicians who made playing with the mute and the trumpet cool.
Wait, the mute?
They have certain mutes that when you put in affect the sound. It sounds different.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really sound as open as if there were nothing there and blocking the airstream. At least the way Miles uses it, very soft and somber.
You're killing this right now.
Thanks. Mingus.
Tell me about Mingus.
Very creative bass player, very interesting way of writing. Coming out of Duke Ellington and that tradition, there's just a certain spirit and a bounce and a joy to his compositions. As you can hear by that Barry sax intro, that's legendary.
We're trying to cover a bunch of different classes here.
The man himself, Mr. John Coltrane.
Why do you say the man himself?
In the tenor tradition, there's probably 4 or 5 that are undoubtables in our community, I guess. And I must say, John Coltrane is definitely undoubtedly one of the best.
I'm liking this history lesson.
Thelonious Monk, the most unique artist to ever play jazz.
What's the style?
He just had his own vibe. That's one thing that we strive for playing jazz, man. That someone can put on some headphones on the side of the street and you say, "Who's that?" And it's oh, Thelonious Monk. I might not know this one. Ruang Baladas? No. Yeah, I don't know this one.
Tito Puente.
Tito. Well.
Who are some artists that you continue to spend a lot of time with?
Bird,
Yeah.
always. Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, we
Yeah.
played him. Thelonious Monk, Sonny Rollins, even older people, Coleman Hawkins, Ben Webster.
If somebody is watching, they've never listened to jazz before, they want to explore one album.
Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Ugetsu. It's Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard, Curtis Fuller. It was definitely an album to me that I was this is cool.
If you could wave a magic wand and play something else, what would you choose?
Bass.
Why?
Because it's the foundation of everything. I grew up in church, so hearing electric bass is something that's like, always just in my ear.
We're going to make a donation in your honor.
I'll donate some jazz at Lincoln Center.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
That was awesome.